Hey everybody, it's Master Vigil. I just wanted to take a minute with my webcam here to explain our new belt system to you guys. I think this is a great change. I think it's going to be a fantastic thing for our school all the way across the board, for the staff and for the students, for the quality of classes. But I know people have some questions and they're kind of wondering why we went and changed all the belt colors and made some arrangements, and the answer is actually very simple. Since day one in our school, ever since I threw open the doors and it was just me pushing the mop and teaching all the classes, I've said that it's a 4-year trip to earn your black belt. And there's a few reasons why I think 4 years is the right amount of time. Most of us are not training 6 days a week, 2-3 hours a day. We're training, 2 sessions of 45 minutes, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And I think that moving at that pace, 4 years is an appropriate, legitimate amount of time to earn a black belt. I think it covers the fundamentals. It makes sure you learn your basics very well. And it makes sure that those kind of intermediate skills get put in place, and that ultimately the more advanced skills that you learn right before you get your black belt have a good foundation to stand on. And the reason for the switch in belts is because if you look at our current 10-belt system, and you look at how we give out a stripe at the end of every month, and how how those stripes make you earn a belt every 3 months, and then you look at the number of belts, what ends up happening is a person is ready for black belt camp at 35 months, and then they have 3 months of camp, they're at 38 months. We need 48 to get a black belt. So we have this 10-month gap that I really didn't think would be a big deal at first, because honestly I didn't think that people would do as well as they have with coming to class twice a week and with always making sure they earn their stripes and getting in there and doing their classes. You guys have really kicked butt. You've done a great job, and you've left me kind of standing here going, wow, we need to do some evaluating. So one option that we had in order to make the belts line up with the amount of time it takes to get a black belt, which relates very closely or relates directly to the amount of time it should take to get a black belt. We're not a belt factory here. You earn your black belt in this school. So, in order to fill that gap between the amount of time it takes and the number of belts we have, I could make it take longer at certain belts. Certain belts could take a year or 6 months instead of 3. However, I think it's better to keep people on that one stripe a month. 3 months later, if you get all your stripes and your attendance is good, you get a belt. I think that system has worked very well for us. It's how you've been successful so far. So I thought the best thing to do was just to add in a couple more belts into the system. So that's why we made the change. The colors, we threw some colors out and we added some colors in. The colors are pretty much irrelevant. All that matters is the knowledge that's behind them. So really, at this point you can probably stop the tape and let that be that, because that's really the reason, and it's really all you have to understand. But if you have some more questions, I can assume what some of them will be, and so keep watching if you still haven't had your question answered. I think the obvious question, the question I would want to know is, okay, if I'm a green belt now, where do I promote to in the new system? The answer is very simple. The forms all have the belts all have a form that corresponds with them. And it's the same as it is right now. When you're a yellow belt, you learn Taeguk Iljang. When you're an orange belt, you learn Taeguk Ijang, and so on and so forth. So what's going to happen is that if you are learning Taeguk Iljang, for example, right now, you'll promote to the belt in the new system where you learn Taeguk Ijang, the next form up. So you are basically getting you're moving up in the current system, but then getting an equivalent belt in the new system, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can click back just about that far and hear it again and see if you can get what I'm talking about. And then the next question, some of you may have, has to do with the gups of Taekwondo. If you don't know what a gup is, don't worry about it now. But the gups is the Korean word for the belts. So the way that it works is Kukkiwon lays down a certain number of gups. They say 10, that there's 10 gups before a black belt. We're not changing that at all. You know, there are 10 GUPs in Taekwondo, and that's the rule, period. The way that it works is the first 3 belts, right, the first 9 months a student is here is mostly a basics course. So we're not going to grant a GUP in that time. You're going to earn belts, but not GUPs. Then, starting at the orange belt in the new system, the GUPs begin, and you start descending down until you get to first GUP. Again, it really doesn't change anything because your GUP doesn't matter. You know, if you were to leave our school and move to Milwaukee and find a Milwaukee Taekwondo school, they're going to come in, they're going to make their own evaluation, and they're going to give you whatever belt you've earned in their system. So the changes really are cosmetic. It just makes sure that we have enough rewards during that time to make sure that students spend an appropriate amount of time practicing for their black belt exams. And we think it's going to be a great change that enables us to spend a little bit more time in the beginning on the basics, which will make it easier to teach the forms kind of around that blue belt, purple belt range that we have right now, and should make it easier on students who are earning red belts and red and black belts that need to know all the forms. So we are totally pumped about our new belt system. We think it is one of the best things we've ever done for the school. All of us teachers are very excited to do it. We hope you guys are excited too. If you have any questions, feel free to grab one of our staff members, either myself or Miss Wendy or Tyler or Neil can all help you just fine in understanding anything you have. Otherwise, YouTube video, right? We can go back about this far and watch it all again, and that's kind of why I did it this way. So if you have any questions, please let us know. In the meantime, keep training hard. Good job, guys. Thanks.